Hello there and welcome to our second edition of News Tonight here on UBC TV, and these are our top stories. Stories tonight. President Museveni advises Rwenzori sub-region leaders to shape the mindset of the electorate. Uganda. Uganda Heart Institute scales up diagnosis and treatment of congenital heart diseases. And in sports, Rowdy fans chase off center referee in one of the semi-finals at the USSA Schools Gala. Hello there and welcome once again. We are coming to you live on air and online from Broadcasting House here on Nile Avenue. On sign language, it is Senyomo Yusuf, and I am Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has addressed Rwenzori sub-region leaders as part of his 3-day visit to the area as he continues to assess performance of government wealth creation program. In a meeting convened at Bumadu Primary School in Bundibujo district, the president tasked leaders to shape the mindset of their electorate and communities towards wealth creation. We have more in this story.
Leaders from Rwenzori sub-region have convened in Bundibujo district for a wealth creation retreat summoned by the President of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. This was graced by both local and national leaders, including the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Thomas Tayebwa, Chief Whip Dennis Oboa, Ministers Dr. Christopher Yomosi, Victoria Rusoke, Minister Martin Mugara, and Alice Kaboyo. As they waited for the president, technocrats from the Parish Development Model Secretariat, Emyoga and other government agencies interacted with the leaders.
Aggregation centers will help us with both marketing but also collective bargaining.
Uganda has achieved an economic takeoff stage, self-sustaining growth. This has been possible because of stable leadership, of visionary leadership of Yoweri Kaguta Museveni.
Also, we have allocated the land to 17 companies. The biggest vehicle assembling plant, or actually assembling plant, or manufacturing plant if you like, by Metu Zongdong, a Ugandan, is going to be located in Kasese Industrial Park. So please do clap for the people of Kasese and Rwenzori.
For the local people's representatives engaged government on what hinders governance and development.
There is a need for government to give us coffee seedlings, particularly Arabica coffee SL14.
Misplaced in the camp, those who are in Muhocha have been not considered as part of the beneficiaries. So these people send me today that now that you are going to access the president of Uganda, you go and ask and reach our message and ask why we are not benefiting under a PDM program.
We have a huge population and the PDM gives only 100 million. So you find that what they get is too little for such a huge population. So my request is that when we are disbursing this money, we should also look at the population.
Someone is saying we are a bit lenient, and that is the reason people will fail to pay. Let us not take action in anticipation. Let us assess and confirm that people are not paying. But otherwise, the regulations are already there.
The meeting at Bumadu Primary School grounds focused on wealth creation, and the preacher of the day was President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni.
And specifically for Bundibujo, the song now in Bundibujo is the long-awaited establishment of the cocoa factory for value addition and job creation. Your Excellency, the people of Bugendera County, they have been agitating, and you promised and you pronounced yourself on their agitation for Bugendera district.
Hachika mipango enye itorogo ya PDM ibikora bingi icyo ngikana ngambara ibikora bingi umunsi boitaro igito NRM icyasho siso okole bingi abukoba twatakamu.
Addressing leaders from Kasese, Bundibujo and Ntoroko, Museveni preached unity and development.
Msusoro kwa mahanga au kwa madini au nino kubaya wakazi ito tusero mserikali wa Burundi.
He also advised leaders to prioritize wealth creation.
Yinwe abahansaro ninyi mukumanye ikigambo cyo gusinga n'abandi abanyarwanda abo kwa numanya ebiro gusera hali numanya Sudan nikana n'ubuhura.
The address also focused on agitation for free education for all in government-aided schools, as well as emphasizing to the Rwenzururu to avoid land fragmentation. The president will on Wednesday return to Kasese district on a third day of the region tour. Robert Nyango, UBC News.
President Yoweri Museveni has commissioned the Kibuku Industrial Hub in Ntoroko district in Rwenzori sub-region. The industrial hub skills disadvantaged youth who dropped out of school.
Dressed in yellow are hundreds of trainees of the newly constructed Kibuku Industrial Hub in Ntoroko district undertaking tailoring under the Presidential Initiative for Industrial Youth Skilling. The Industrial Hub equips youth who dropped out of school with skills in tailoring, welding, bakery, hairdressing, shoemaking, carpentry and joinery, and building and construction. 20-year-old Jackson Mutebi dropped out of school in Senior 4.
Since I've joined the hub, I've got a lot of skills. I've learned very many things whereby I can make every sort of garment design.
The hub has had 3 intakes since 2023, and at least 890 have been trained.
I came with 0, but now I can make garments. I can make these dresses as you see, we have dressing, can make gowns.
President commissioned the hub on the wealth creation tour of Rwenzori sub-region. During the commissioning, Museveni emphasized the free education to allow vulnerable communities access education.
Abana bona basomere busa in primary. Hanyuma twayongeraho USE. Abana bona basomere busa secondary.
Museveni decried payment in government-aided schools.
Mwana wa munaku okuzala abana batene bazaire ba single mothers bena abana tibakosobola nkani ngamba Uganda Republic ezala abana abatene kirorerera abana babaguda basobola kugenda masomero ga sente beta ababana.
The NRM second national vice chairperson and the minister for ICT, Chris Baryomusi, and the deputy speaker of parliament, Thomas Tayebwa, pledged to ensure that the hubs prosper.
Entaro kandi twatwagizire n'entaro kunuya eza ADF n'abandi nitwenda okusima bw'okugwana okabinga bazigu ba ADF kandi abantu bantoro kubona bundi bujo na Rwenzori n'ecyanga iki abantu bakagira obusinge webare your excellency.
Bugombora town council nati tubanze tubona abashomesa tubongere mu mashomero tubanze tubone sente zo kwombeka ebizimbe by'amashomero then twiheho completely ebe bintu byo kugenda ntunyangara z'abanaku abogerezeho kureba ngo wanunura konka twaguma tugaruke nyuma ntukutementeje ntukutegenteje.
The area leaders commended the president for the industrial hub initiative in empowering those who dropped out of school.
That you saw all these successful stories. These people dropped out of school because of school fees. So His Excellency opened another door, another fight. He went back to Luwero again for the second time. He is demonstrating to us that it's possible to have free education.
Here, every district contributes 80 trainees every 6 months. We graduate them. And I am happy HE the President has increased the intake for the trainees to 500 every 6 months, meaning for every district we shall be training here 160.
Philip Agut and Stephen Kalisia for UBC News in Ntoroko.
The European Union has committed 48 million euros, approximately 200 billion Uganda shillings, to support Uganda in the restoration of forests and protection of the environment. A team of officials from the green transition and private sector of the European Union made this revelation during a meeting with the Prime Minister of Uganda, Robin Anabanja, at her office here in Kampala.
Research indicates that Uganda's forest cover has been declining in the last 20 years, from 24% to now 12.6%. The government of Uganda, together with European Union countries, developed a partnership framework to restore the degraded forests in Uganda.
We very much welcome all the efforts made so far by the government of Uganda to implement activities that promote our common sustainability objectives, and in particular the preservation of forests. As you know, forests are the lungs, the life support system of the world. They help regulate the global climate and water cycle all around the globe, and their biodiversity is unique.
This partnership into the forest sector, according to Sunny Williams, will be supported with 48 million euros, approximately 200 billion Uganda shillings.
As you are aware, we have committed some 40 million euros initially under the current forestry program, and I want to express my gratitude to the Danish government that has added some 8 million euros to the initial funding, and that should be contracted to the end of this year.
Prior to the operationalization of the forest partnership, other EU member states like Germany through KfW and Sweden through CEDA had committed over $20 million, which had been locked in the World Bank over social safeguards and perceived discrimination against minority groups.
In 2023, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni put a ban on timber export as a measure to stop the cutting of forests across the country.
Why are we allowing the export of raw timber and import furniture? Why can't these furniture factories set up here? I therefore direct you and the Minister of Water and the Environment to make sure that this practice is stopped immediately. 2023.
However, officials from the European Union nations are concerned that a number of investors into the forest sector are stuck because of the ban by the president.
Uganda has been quite successful in setting up commercial plantations. And the forest cover has actually expanded because of those commercial plantations. At the moment, a lot of these trees are fully grown, but the people who have planted them cannot use the investments they have made for commercial forestry because the processing facilities are not there, are not sufficiently developed. The export is difficult because of the ban.
I agree with you that if I plant commercially, I would expect to sell it, but we are telling you that if you want to sell it, even if you have planted it commercially, you must replace it. So it is no longer just your personal product. it is now a sustainable product for the entire country.
Like the president said some time back, electricity is the bone marrow of any economy. You cannot get investors in your economy if you don't have enough power. Because you cannot talk about an economy or factories when you don't have power.
So we are looking at creating 150,000 decent forestry-related jobs. And these forestry-related jobs, because at the moment, when you export raw timber or you export the veneer, you are actually exporting jobs.
You are taking timber, you are taking the veneers. There is still a lot of waste which can be turned into energy. That must be addressed.
Research indicates that Uganda has capacity to earn over $3 billion from forest. In 2023 to 2024, Uganda exported timber products worth $146 million, approximately 515 billion Uganda shillings.
Jingo Francis reporting there. Now, Uganda People's Defence Forces Amendment Bill 2025 has been tabled before Parliament and presented for first reading amidst pressure. Now, this follows the recent Supreme Court ruling disqualifying the court-martial from trying civilians. The Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, asked for a marathon scrutiny before the elapse of the fourth session of Parliament.
The Uganda People's Defence Forces Amendment Bill 2025 first got lost in the fog as the line ministers were absent at the time of its reading.
And this bill is in compliance with the court ruling of the Kabaziguruka.
The Minister of State for Trade, David Bahati, volunteered to present the UPDF bill amidst heckles.
Amendment Bill 2025 for the first reading.
Drama continued as the State Minister for Veteran Affairs, Olero Huda Basso, appeared to lay an empty certificate of financial implication.
Mr. Speaker, I'm requesting that the second thing on the agenda should be read. Within a minute,
the document is there.
And finally, the Minister of State for Defence, Jacob Oboth, saved the day.
I beg to move.
The situation depicted high stakes with possible consequences for failure.
Honourable Speaker, that's not the way procedurally bills are read for the first time. The Prime Minister is here. Madam Prime Minister, why don't you organize your cabinet?
Let it be late. Can you get the certificate and lay on table?
The Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, referred the bill to a joint committee of Defence and Internal Affairs and the Legal and Parliamentary Affairs.
The chairperson of Legal and Parliamentary Affairs is hereby designated to chair the joint committee.
The UPDF Amendment Bills 2025 seeks to, among others, restructure and re-establish the court-martial, including prescribing its jurisdictions.
A civilian who is gotten in concert allegedly committing an offense with serving military officers, that at the start of trial in the military court, this civilian will now be given the rank of private. Can you imagine?
The most fundamental issue that was raised by the Supreme Court is that these people work under command. Whether a lawyer becomes, as long as you're a military man, it doesn't matter whether you're a lawyer, you will still be appointed by the high command. So you can't have a court appointed by the high command and the charges preferred against you by the high command, and then you pretend to be a judge.
The Supreme Court recently disqualified the trial of civilians in the court-martial. The bill in progress seeks cure through identifying exceptional circumstances under which civilians are tried in the court-martial.
What would be important is for court-martial to be trying only soldiers, because we have enough rules in our statute books. That would be the most important. The moment you go beyond, and the experience that we have got under the court-martial does not give any confidence to any Ugandan that this is a law which is made in good faith.
I think it makes the bill a bit uglier and it may cause unnecessary tensions in Parliament. If I were to advise, I would have isolated the issues that are purely to deal with the welfare, the structure, the command, the treatment, the pensions of the UPDF separately, and then study further how best to deal with the pronouncements of court.
Now, the government bill is also in the spirit that the UPDF has registered transformation arising from both threats and opportunities. Speaker Annette Among wants a speedy approach to ensure the bill is not locked by the closure of the fourth session of the House.
And I am not going to allow people to come and do politics here. I expect the committee to handle this and should be resolved before the end of the fourth session.
Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gutabinji, UBC News.
And the Speaker of Parliament, Annette Among, has advised the courts of law to expeditiously handle cases related to abductions. This follows a concern raised by the Leader of Opposition in Parliament, Joel Senyonyi, on the manner in which Edward Sebuufu, alias Eddie Mutwe, was whisked by unknown security operatives and later brought to Masaka Court, charged and remanded. Lop Senyonyi wanted the House to pronounce itself on what he described as impunity. We have more in this story.
Speak to your motion.
Recently, Edward Sebuufu, alias Eddie Mutwe, was reportedly whisked by unknown armed men from Mukono district. Robert Chagulanyi's bodyguard was later brought to Masaka Court, charged and remanded accordingly. The Leader of Opposition in Parliament, Joel Senyonyi, brought the attention to the Speaker of Parliament, Annette Among.
Honourable Speaker, meanwhile we were continuously, together with the family of this man and lawyers, looking for where this person is. But somebody says, I've got him in my basement. My challenge, Right Honourable Speaker, is, and it's good the Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs is here, the Minister of State for Internal Affairs is here. Maybe government needs to help us understand. Are there some people for whom Article 21 of the Constitution, which says we are all equal under the law, that this one does not apply to some, that some people are above the law?
The Speaker did not agree with Lop Senyonyi's attempt to front social media affairs to back up his submission.
The arrest is done by other people. So you may not talk about the CDF now. We may need to look in depth. We may need to look in depth who did it and why was it done. But then the court process must be expedited.
Whether you should not get government at the highest level to tell us, because recently he said, you opposition, you're going to beat you during elections. For us, we are Tutsi. These are serious matters that, Madam Speaker, everybody, every sane person must be concerned with.
When asked, the Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Norbert Mao, responded with a sense of dismissiveness.
Madam Speaker, we are over 45 million Ugandans, and every day there are many infractions against the law. People are being killed, people are being robbed. It doesn't mean those who break the law are above the law.
In another development, Speaker Among directed the Minister of Works to present a report to Parliament concerning the bad state of Ugandan roads that have caused frequent accidents, leading to death of many Ugandans.
Within a town here, so many accidents are happening. The potholes can even swallow a whole car because they are not being maintained. So I don't know whether it was a good idea to rationalize UNRA in the name of efficiency. We allocated money, there was money we put in works, which money was out of rationalization, but this money has not been put to use.
Nze Rebecca Nantongo, ne Gloria Gutabinji, ku Parliament.
Easter Monday.
Still in the August House, Parliament has eulogized the late Pope Francis for his spirit of international solidarity, where Uganda is blessed to be among the 60 countries that he visited before he passed away. The Prime Minister of Uganda, Robinah Nabbanja, said the late called for justice, peace, inclusion, and love for the entire humanity.
Parliament has paid tribute to the late Pope Francis, sovereign of the State of the Vatican City, for his selfless and dedicated service to the Catholic Church. The Prime Minister and Leader of Government Business in Parliament, Robina Nabbanja, moved the motion. She said Parliament recognizes that Pope Francis advocated for reforms in the Catholic Church by appointing various synods.
Appreciating that His Holiness Pope Francis advocated for the protection of the environment, migrants, women and children, and preached for reconciliation and interreligious tolerance, advocated for the world peace and the peaceful resolution of wars and conflicts in South Sudan, Gaza, Ukraine, Democratic Republic of Congo, and other parts of the world affected by war and conflict.
Nabbanja said the late was a pope with an open heart towards everyone, who encouraged leaders to act with humility.
Particularly while he was in Uganda in November 2015 to celebrate with us the Diamond Jubilee of canonization of the Uganda Matters, Pope Francis encouraged us to reach out to those in need, to cooperate with others for the common good, and to build a more just society which promotes human dignity. In these private conversations, Right Honorable Speaker and members, the Holy Father thanked the government of Uganda and the President, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, for maintaining peace and for the worthwhile policy of hosting refugees.
The motion was seconded by the Leader of Opposition in Parliament, Joe Senyonyi, attributed to the late Pope as one who advocated for justice, transparency and servant leadership.
Deeply powerful. Speaking with clarity and urgency, he reminded our leaders that the development of a nation depends not only on infrastructure, but more importantly, on upright and honest leaders and citizens who are guided by a spirit of service. His words were not abstract. They were a direct call for action for all of us in public leadership. Honorable colleagues, the legacy of Pope Francis challenges us to reflect deeply on the kind of leadership we offer this country. It must never be about position, entitlement, or self-preservation. True leadership, as he demonstrated, is about serving the people with humility, dignity, and humanity.
To pay it with respect and dignity. We can talk about politics after, but for now, let's talk about the man of God who was full of humility, simplicity.
Buyaga West constituency MP Barnabas Tinkasimire said late Pope Francis advocated for rights of all humans.
A time he spoke about blessing the homosexuals. A tornado of attack went against him, including the church, the people he was leading. He said, even when I have authority to excommunicate anyone who disagrees with me, I will not call forth against that. You see a leader who understood his responsibility.
While the woman representative for Amuru, Akelo Lucy, will remember the late Pope as one who was a peacemaker, citing the incident when he kissed the feet of the leader of South Sudan.
Francis was a peacemaker. Those of you who watch the videos, how he kissed the feet of the leaders from South Sudan. And I pray that South Sudan finds peace even when Pope Francis is no more.
Pope Francis died on Easter Monday, 21st April in Vatican City. I'm Navka Farida and Gloria Gwitabinji at Parliament.
National Resistance Movement candidate Farida Nambi Chigongo has struggled to convince court on how the 16,640 untallied votes from 14 polling stations could have secured her victory in the recently concluded Kawempe North by-election. This was during the hearing of the parliamentary electoral petition Farida Nambi filed against NUP's Erias Luyimbazi Nalukola, challenging his victory as the elected Member of Parliament for Kawempe North constituency.
Omulamuzi Bernard Namanyo wa kkooti enkulu ewozesa emisango gy'engassi yali mu musango gwa munna NRM Farida Nambi Chigongo gwe yagulako munna NUP Erias Luyimbazi Nalukoola ng'awakanya obukiise bwe ku kifo ky'omubaka w'e Kawempe North. Kawa musango guno Farida Nambi yasoose okuwa obujulizi mu musango guno okubaako kye yeebuzibwa oludda oluvunaanwa. Nambi abuuziddwa bannamateeka abaawaabirwa okubabulira ku nsonga y'obululu bw'agamba.
Big thing about the MTN Super. Wali yakapia musite wali yakapia. MTN kabo the Super mustairompia. Then you kabo the smartphone nebi yakabibiona. MTN kabo the Super mustairompia. Then you kabo the smartphone nebi yakabibiona.
Get the new Kabode Super smartphone and enjoy 16 GB free. Start with a deposit of only 45,000 Uganda shillings and pay the rest mpola in daily installments of less than 1K. You can also make weekly and monthly installments. Together, our vibes are unstoppable. Terms and conditions apply. MTN. MTN is regulated by Uganda Communications Commission.
Uganda Development Forum, in partnership with Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, is organizing a 2-day Musevenomics Conference on the 29th and 30th of May 2025. The conference is dedicated to exploring Uganda's revolutionary economic model under the theme, Sustaining Musevenomics, hence navigating Uganda's economic future in a disrupted world. His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, and the chairman of Uganda Development Forum, General Salim Saleh, will lead a team of distinguished speakers in economics and development. The Musevenomics Conference 2025 is sponsored by Uganda Development Forum in partnership with Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, Uganda Development Corporation, Parish Development Model, and Operation Wealth Creation.
Are you a woman with a small-scale business with a dream of growing it to another level? The GROW Project is here to support you in realizing your dream.
The GROW Project is a government initiative implemented by the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development and Private Sector Foundation Uganda with support from the World Bank.
We support women-owned businesses across the country to gain hands-on and business management skills through training within your location, business financing through grants and affordable loans, and infrastructure in your areas of operation to enable you to increase your productivity.
If you have a business that makes sales of up to 800,000 Uganda shillings per month, the GROW Project has the tools and resources to help you succeed. For more information, contact your district or city GROW focal person or call our toll-free line on 0800 307 777 to learn more about how you can benefit from the GROW Project's services.
The GROW Project, empowering women economically, transforming communities.
Special announcement from the Baseline Education Census 2025. The Uganda Bureau of Statistics, in collaboration with the Ministry of Education and Sports, is conducting the Baseline Education Census 2025. This exercise will cover all learning institutions in the country for both government and private establishments, namely pre-primary, primary, secondary, vocational, and higher institutions of learning. The baseline education census exercise data collection is being conducted in a phased manner, starting with Greater Kampala Metropolitan Area, comprising of districts of Kampala, Mukono, and Wakiso. The rollout to all other regions will commence at the beginning of second term. The baseline education census collects information on learners, teachers, and school facilities to facilitate planning and policy decisions in the education sector. Uganda Bureau of Statistics appeals to the general public, heads of schools and institutions, as well as the local government authorities to cooperate with the BEC enumerators. In a special way, UBOS appeals to all parents of the learners to support the exercise by availing learners with their correct date of birth, national identification number, and learner's identification number. For more information, please call 0772 933 628 or 0743 787 189 from Dr. Chris Mukiza, Executive Director.
Tecno and MTN. Together, our flash snap is unstoppable. Grab the Tecno Camon 40 series and get free 9 GB of MTN data valid for 3 months. Don't wait. Get your Tecno Camon 40 today at Tecno stores and MTN outlets. MTN is regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission.
Sam nazanya roto ganyiga star 278 then hash kuja kubanga oyingire mu kazannyo nga sente zino zimula wano zina wangu zino wano milioni 10 inala mu mukaga ebindi wana soka bila ku TV nange sasoka kikiriza ninga mulaye kino kinzo kubanga kitufu oba yaddala tibya bufere sente zino nazifunye zino nazikoze eki naziwangudde amasanyu ina mangi byoto byange byembadde njagala ngenda bitukiriza.
Uganda National Lottery. Dream, play, win. Participants must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Uganda National Lottery is operated by Ituba Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulator.
Welcome back, and this is News Tonight here on UBC TV. The Sebei elders and opinion leaders have called upon government to intervene in a row that has emerged regarding the cultural leadership of the Sabine community. They say the cultural leadership is contested by two people, with one, Peter Swilike Kisa, already claiming to have been elected by clan leaders, whereas Prince Mutai Lawrence also claims to be the true Sebei cultural leader.
A section of Sebei have appealed to government to intervene before the planned gazette of Peter Swilinki for stakeholders to follow procedures on cultural leadership.
The Minister of Gender stop every business Silke is conducting, whether local at home here or national, until our matter is resolved, traditional at home.
Currently, the cultural leadership of Sebei is claimed by two people, Peter Swilinki Kisa and Prince Mutai Lawrence. An elder and former Deputy Speaker, Kapchora District, 2021 to 2026, Chebyang Lazarus, says Council resolved that one Mutai Lawrence be appointed Sebei Culture Institution head.
After consulting the elders, it was resolved by Council resolution that Mutai Lawrence, as a prince of the kingdom of Matui, be appointed to replace that position of the kingdom of Sebei region.
After that, we brought our business to the district council. Now, the district council said, please want the name, not the business. We want the name. Then we sat down, the old man said, the name I have is Prince Lawrence Mutai. He's a of Sabine.
The Sabine leaders and opinion leaders say their cultural leadership is guided by their prophets.
We are not politicians. We are just the people who are under the orders of our prophecies to implement orders which was being ordered by the prophet.
The current claimant of the seat, Peter Swilenki Kisa, says he procedurally acquired the cultural leadership.
Our first Kingo, Yovan Maikut, was elected by the district council. He was not appointed by the what? By the prophets. Because now we have 3 districts in the region, we decided that the clan leaders will be the people mandated to elect the cultural leader. And that's how I came to be elected.
The Sabini believe in spiritual leaders who hold answers to cultural traditions.
So, if you are watching my child, I'm going to let Manasamani, I Lawrence Mutaile, leading up
So, after approval of the cultural institution leadership, he said because he's not educated, he chose his son, approved the son, called Mutai Lawrence.
Moving on now, and an inter-university research conference for earlier career researchers has kicked off in Kampala. Speaking at the conference, Professor Vincent Kafero, the Vice-Chancellor of Mutesa One Royal University, highlighted how knowledge-based economies are a hallmark of developed nations.
In the gathering of scholars and young researchers, Professor Kafero called for increased investment in higher education and research, citing it as a key pathway to national transformation.
To grow, it must be knowledge-driven. We must develop new knowledge that will definitely enable us to grow or to expand the economy. We gave an example, draw an analogy of the Far East Lake, Singapore, the Chinas, and so on. Their development is explained mainly by the number of PhDs they've had.
And empathize with other people who struggle. So the people who could potentially fund, they need to know the value, but also they're concerned about the conversion rate. So you can put more money into supporting doctorates, but it won't necessarily lead to the outcome you're looking for unless you try to address the particular issues which cause students to give up and not complete. So I'd say the two really have to go together.
Karl-Max Rutaro, Managing Director of Network for Education and Multidisciplinary Research Africa, NIMRA, emphasized the importance of effective research proposal writing, especially for those pursuing doctorate studies.
Because PhD journey starts with a proposal, and once you get your proposal wrong, you may really not able to recover. So this training is aimed at polishing the thoughts, the ideas of the PhD candidates in form of proposals.
PhD students were encouraged to disseminate their findings, stressing that research should contribute to the improvement of communities.
We have what we call dissemination. We expect that the students also can disseminate some information to the end users. The end users are the people where they collected the data from. And these days we also ask the PhD students to have a community engagement plan. What are they going to do? Once they collect their data, they should share with the communities where they collected their data so that they validate the information and they use the information to better themselves.
The 4-day conference serves as a platform to empower early career researchers and reinforce the link between academic inquiry. Mary Namkose, UBC News.
Now, in a bid to enhance and rejuvenate youth support towards the NRM government, State Minister for Kampala, Kawiye Chofa Togabye, has held a youth symposium in Chito village, a Chifumu parish in Nakaseke district. According to Chofa Togabye, the youth have sidelined the NRM government, yet it has done so much in improving their livelihood through various initiatives. He promised that the government is doing whatever it takes to ensure the challenges faced by the youth are addressed, hence calling upon them to support the NRM government in the 2026 general election.
Campaign, which we call the Youth Symposium, in an effort to reawaken the NRM support in Nakaseke district. And eventually this symposium will affect also Luwero, because Nakaseka and Luwero are twin brothers and sisters. You can't separate both. So we always listen to the youth, but our major objective is to find out why the youth descended NRM. Why are they descending NRM? Why are they saying, why did they go where they went? And what has been the problem for us as a party to mobilize the youth? Almost the same problems have come out in all areas we've gone through. And now we are able to sit down and make analysis of all those problems, and then we address them. Good enough, the youth's problems are no longer so much. They are just ranging from being embraced, being understood, then jobs, and then the rest will be participation in leadership. And I've been urging them to participate in leadership now that we have an opportunity to showcase.
So n'olw'ensonga eyo twegasse ku mulanga gwa Minisita Kyofata-Gabye okusobola okulaba nti tufunira abavubuka emirimu. Kuba kye kimu ku bizibu ekyemu twavaayo okulaba nga tulwanako nga tuyitira Ministry of Labour ekwasaganya ebyabakozi. So nga tuyisa mu waato ogwo tusobola okulaba nti at least
Uganda's adolescents rank lowest in East Africa problem-solving skills. A recent report revealed that only 3% of learners aged 13 to 17 can critically solve problems, compared to a still low regional average of 5%. Now, these findings are from the 2022 Assessment of Life Skills and Values in East Africa, ALIVE, conducted by the Regional Education Learning Initiative, RELI, and partners.
Over 11,000 adolescents in 20 districts were assessed on life skills, including problem-solving, collaboration, and self-awareness in 2022, with low results for those both in and out of school.
If we look at problem-solving, for example, the young children aged between 13 and 17 who could be seen to say that they really had appropriate or desired problem-solving skills, like 3% out of the young people that we interviewed, which was over 10,000 young people we interviewed across, or we engaged with across 20 districts in Uganda, and the regional average was 5%. So Uganda was lower, even lower than the average.
The report shows only 6% of adolescents can collaborate effectively, while just 19% show meaningful self-awareness. Kampala tops the chart in values expression at 19%, with Kyejegwa ranking lowest at 1.2%.
But we looked at the skills and values that cut across Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania within our curriculum. Skills like problem solving, collaboration, self-awareness, and then values like respect. And we said, let's generate some data on that, and focusing on young people between the age of 13 and 17.
We got it wrong because the parents have not been involved. And we reached a point where a child will ask you, are you my father? In those days when I was growing, when you are climbing a tree and a neighbor finds you and says, what are you doing? You go running, because you know that a community leader or member has authority to discipline you. But now, the child will ask you, are you the one who produced me? So we went wrong without emphasizing some of these things in our homes, in our communities, in our day life. And we left it to the schools, where you say the child can go to the school and do what they want. No.
Education experts want a stronger partnership between parents, communities, and schools. Basing on this, a 10-week intervention has rolled out by RELI Uwezo, partnering with 6 civil society organizations across districts of Oyam, Tororo, Shema, and Kampala on awareness and capacity development.
The component of parents or communities, because we know that these skills we are talking about, they don't come from heaven. That you wait until the children go to school and they acquire these in schools, because these are skills like problem solving, or even values like respect, integrity. These are skills that are acquired when children are still young.
This Road Out initiative seeks to prevent risk in raising a generation lacking critical life skills. Crispus Adenitwe, UBS News.
The Speaker, Nakasongola District Local Government Council, Rogers Wanga Sande, has urged parents to send their children to school to enable them fit properly into the 21st century lifestyle. He was addressing participants during the graduation party of one George Semwanga at his parents' home in Kanyonyi Village, Kalunji Sub-County in Nakasongola District.
Be prepared to look for the job, to look for the businesses that they require to do. Nothing is going to come their way unless they look for it. So that is the yardstick. Discipline is another matter. Let them not underlook anybody on this world. Anyone, everybody can take you where you want, as long as you have used the requisite skills that you have acquired from your various universities to make sure that you live competitively with the rest of the city.
We'll take yet another short break and return with business news.
Hey, Kajambo. Where are you going with the family?
Oh no. We are on our way to the polling station. The Electoral Commission is displaying the National Voters Register, and I need to make sure my name is on it. And Sophie here wants to confirm her voter details. We are all warming up for elections.
Okay. What about these young men? I can see you.
These ones are no longer boys. They are now men. Last election, they were too young to vote. But now, they are ready to vote.
Mukasa, you have really inspired me. Now let me also go home and pick my wife, so that we can check the details in the register. Okay. See you on the polling station.
The National Voters Register will be displayed at your polling station from 25th April to 15th May 2025. Please do not miss this chance to confirm your polling station and your voter details. Report the dead for removal from the register and those who appear more than once. Every vote matters. This message is brought to you by the Electoral Commission of Uganda.
Agriculture is Uganda's economic backbone, employing about 70% of the working population and contributing 20% of the GDP. As the world becomes a digital global village, ICT has proven to increase productivity in the agricultural value chain. UKUSAF, through its Strategic Plan 3, recognizes the importance of access and usage of ICT-based tools, information and knowledge for farmers by providing them the needed skills to live, learn, work and participate in a digital society.
We came up with a project which we took to UKSAF, and we're happy that UKSAF supported it. That project is called ICT for Farmers. What do we get from ICT for Farmers? We managed to skill up to 100,000 farmers.
I'd like to thank all our clients, our valued taxpayers, the people that we serve as we collect revenue for building our nation. I thank you very much for the questions you have sent through this program of Buza Commissioner. On behalf of URA, I would like to pledge that we are committed and we will continue to answer all the questions that you ask through this platform. The whole purpose for this program is to ensure that your pain points, your questions are efficiently responded to. So I would like to encourage all our taxpayers who have questions to ask to please utilize this program that we are running on UBC, that will be receiving your questions through the numbers that you've been given, and URA will be available to answer these questions every Monday and every Wednesday during the 8 o'clock news bulletin. And then on Sunday, after the news, we'll have a full response to all the questions that will have come in during the week. I thank UBC for supporting us in reaching our taxpayers, and I thank our taxpayers for responding positively to this program. Thank you very much.
Buza Commissioner.
We used to run, but most of the time we were running away from something. But nowadays, everything seems different. People still run, but they are running towards something. They run to test their limits, to break new records. And when we do it right, we inspire others.
The inaugural Coffee Marathon, uplifting rural coffee women, 24th May at Africa Coffee Park, Ntungamo.
Come, let us run.
To register, dial *217 *413 #. Choose option 4. Or scan the event QR code, or visit the website to choose the race options. Brought to you by Inspire Africa Group.
Welcome back. Let's have a look at business news now. And the Uganda Institute of Banking and Financial Services has come with a bill that seems to regulate the banking and financial services profession. The Chief Executive Officer, Uganda Institute of Banking and Financial Services, Goreti Masadde, says the aim is to regulate the professionals in the sector through strengthening standards.
The Uganda Institute of Banking and Financial Services Bill, when approved by Parliament, will regulate the banking and financial services profession. This was echoed during the second edition of Women in Banking and Finance Conference in Kampala. Rampara Member of Parliament, also Chair of the Parliamentary Committee on Finance and Planning, Amos Kankunda, represented the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among.
Let us soar together through mentorship, information sharing, sisterhood, networking, and collaboration. While we do all this, let us be mindful of the existential pitfalls that litter our career paths. Sexual exploitation, modification, stereotyping, to mention a few.
The Chief Executive Officer, Uganda Institute of Banking and Financial Services, Goreti, says Uganda Institute of Banking and Financial Services Bill, if passed into law, will set standards for the professionals in the sector.
We believe that our clients will get better service, but also internally, people will have a guided growth on how they move from the very bottom to the point of leading these institutions.
During the conference on the theme Accelerating Women's Leadership and Influence in Banking and Finance, women leaders wanted more women empowered to take on leadership roles in the financial services sector.
Institutions where they have women leaders, we have seen quite a lot of impacts. Women who have influenced products for women, which is very, very important, which is very good. So for that reason, I think this conference is important to remind everybody and also to showcase the good results that have been done by women leaders and encouraging banks to hire more women.
When you give a woman a position of leadership, you are building a family and you're also building the community, because women are more responsible and they're also very caring. And also when it comes to integrity, even at the workplace.
Empowering women in banking and the financial sector will unlock Uganda's economic potential. Cayenne Faith, Regan Ahumaza, for ABC.
We will then invite
Sport. Sports news now, and the best athletes for the month of April have been decorated during the Fortbet Real Stars Sports Monthly Awards held at Lazio Restaurant in Kololo. Take a watch.
Pass from Senguba has found its way across, and here's a chance for Bulgaria to make it two. Once again,
Uganda's under-17 player James Bogle has, for guiding Uganda to its first ever World Cup, been named the Fortbet Real Star Monthly Best of April. Other winners were rugby's Lydia Namabiro and Kabaddi's Eunice Awori, who was Best Defender as Uganda won the Africa Championship in Kenya.
This award really belongs to my team, my coaches, and everyone out there who supported us.
You know, in football, you need to write history. So my main purpose is to write history in football. Remember, it's coming through talent, but no one gets to any level if you don't put in the effort.
The awards organizer Isaac Mukasa vowed to lobby for sports.
My first year, I want to see my Wiko Red Stars coming to big league. Remember, I'm the chairman right now of the club, Wiko Red Stars, which is playing in a regional league. So if I've been managing it when just a journalist, now when I come to Parliament, my first year in the term, I want to see them qualifying to the big league. Then from there, the second year, if all go as I plan, they must be playing in the top flight league.
The legendary award has gone to globally renowned kickboxer Moses Golola, whose influence transcends sports.
We all seen football guys getting a lot of money at a younger age because in Europe they knew that talent, they don't get it from the ghetto, they grow talent. The challenge we have here, our people still know that talent comes from the ghetto. This is one of the reasons most talents, they have not excelled.
The Fortbet Real Star Sports Monthly Awards have been a mainstay since 2018 and have rewarded more than 500 winners with plaques and cash. Report compiled by Vincent Wamundu for UBC News.
And that story brings us to the end of this bulletin. Thank you so much for having kept us company. On Sign Language, it's been Senyomo Yusuf, and I am Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma, wishing you a blessed night.
Inspiring Uganda.
I want to welcome you to the Rotary Moment Show, to a very special occasion that I am very concerned about. This is my Rotary Club, the Rotary Club of Chiwatule. Today we install the 23rd president of the Rotary Club of Chiwatule. And that president is none other than Isaiah Henry Katongole, who is going to be the 23rd president of Chiwatule. And the person giving her the chain is Rotarian or President Winnie Babihuga, who has led a wonderful, wonderful year. Winnie led us to a year that has had the best five-a-side ever, where we collected 40 million Uganda shillings. We went to Nachinego and we treated over 1,500 patients in that medical outreach. We have been able to work with people in Tororo as the Rotary Club of Chiwatule on a project called Kofia. So President Winnie, thank you very much for leading us through a wonderful year, leading the Rotary Club of Chiwatule. Welcome to the Rotary Moment Show. Today we welcome President Isaiah Henry Katongole to a wonderful presidency. That is of 2025-2026. where I know you're going to hear a wonderful vision for the club. We are going to grow, and we're also going to make sure we give to the Rotary Foundation. Welcome to the Rotary Moment Show.
This walk in, and I trust my Rotarians to bring in the president the best way she can come in. Please bring in the president. Those who came with their hands can clap. The ones who left them behind, we are sorry.
I wanna love you, love you, love you, love you. Don't love you down, down. I wanna drive you, drive you, drive you, drive you. So there you go, wind out. I wanna do you this way you no go understand. Later you go find out. I wanna carry you, carry you, carry you, carry you, carry you down, down. Oh my baby.
You know.
Obugalo buliwa obugalo nga tubulira.
Corner. Good.
Girl, I don't really care about your body type. What really matter now your vibe. I be the one for you, one for you. Don't really have to be the one to go. Ain't nobody fine like you. Girl, I be the one for you, one for you.
Thank you, DJ. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, our job now ends here, and I would like to hand over the microphone to the president. President, we have two microphones. One is black, another one is red. You can choose which color you want to use. President, please decide.
Good evening. Good evening. Let me call this meeting to order. Today, the Rotary Club of Chihuatule is holding its installation ceremony for our incoming president, Isaiah Henry Katongole, and is privileged to host you. So let's go through the invocation.
Good evening, everyone. Let's humble ourselves for prayer. Heavenly Creator, we gather today with gratitude in our hearts as we witness the installation of our new president, Rotarian Henry Katogore, for our Rotary Club of Chihuatule. We thank you for the privilege of service, for the fellowship we share, and for the opportunity to make a positive impact in our communities and beyond. As we install our new president, Rotarian Henry Katogole, we ask for your guidance and wisdom to be upon him. Grant him the vision to lead with purpose, the courage to make difficult decisions, and the compassion to serve with humility and heart. May he be a beacon of Rotary motto, service above self. Bless our members, both present and past, for their dedication and efforts. Unite us in common purpose, and let our work reflect integrity, fellowship, diversity, and service. Let's all give thanks. Amen.
Amen. I now hand over to the MC to go through the program. Thank you. Please
Thank you,
sit down.
Disha. Thank you, President. So we are now fully constituted. We can begin with a fellowship. But before the President says bye to us, okay, the year is not yet ended, but before she says bye to us, DJ, can you give us a song so that we relax, and then the President organizes herself and comes and talks to us.
Our guest of honor today, the district governor and your representative, our assistant governor, our incoming president, and your dear Anne and family, Rotarians from Mother Club Kololo, Rotarians and Rotaractors of visiting Rotary and Rotaract clubs, club guests, Rotarians of the great Rotary Club of Chihuatule, good evening.
Just about a year ago, I stood before you, humbled and filled with anticipation, as I accepted the honor of serving as president of the Rotary Club of Chihuatule. The year's theme has been the magic of Rotary. And today, looking back, I can say that the magic was real, not just in the projects we delivered or all the milestones we achieved, but in the unity, the friendship, and the spirit of service that carried us through the year. As I prepare to pass the baton, I'm overwhelmed with gratitude. This journey has been one of great honor of my life. You entrusted me with the leadership, but more importantly, you walked beside me hand in hand. And many of you here today